friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, welcome. I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. I put out What's for Dinner videos every Sunday, and this week I have 3 inspirational meals for you again, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as we did. So let's get started. This first meal is going to be a super easy cheesy baked ziti. I'm starting off by bringing a large pot of water to a boil. I've went ahead and generously salted that. I'm going to boil up 16-ounce package of ziti noodles, and I'm cooking those to al dente. In total, you're going to need 3 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese. You're only needing half right now, so together in a bowl, I'm mixing 1.5 cups of that mozzarella cheese with a 15-ounce container of ricotta, and you're going to need 24-ounce jar of sauce. This is actually only a 20-ounce jar of sauce, but it still worked out fine. I'm putting a little water in the jar to get out the extra sauce, and you're just going to go ahead and mix this all really well and combine all those ingredients together. And after it's combined, you're going to go ahead and add in your drained ziti noodles to this mixture and just go ahead and stir them in, get them nice and coated with all of that pasta sauce mixture. And next I went ahead and sprayed a 9x13 baking dish with some cooking spray, and I'm just going to go ahead and add in that pasta and sauce mixture in there and spread it out into an even layer. And then you're going to go ahead and sprinkle your remaining mozzarella cheese, and either I just didn't quite measure right because I just eyeballed it, or I just like a lot of cheese, so I put the remainder on top, and it still needed a little bit more cheese for me. I had a little bag of something I already had open. It was like an Italian blend cheese, and I just put that remainder of the bag on top as well. And I always like to sprinkle the tops of my pasta dishes with cheese with a little bit of dried parsley, or maybe even a lot, just because I like the way it looks. And you're going to go ahead and bake this at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. And I normally choose to broil it for an additional minute or 2 minutes just to get that cheese a little bit browned on top. And here it is out of the oven. This was so simple, but yet so delicious. In fact, it tasted even better the next day for leftovers. Like, the sauce really got like absorbed into the pasta. It was so good, and I served it with a Caesar salad. This was actually an avocado Caesar salad, but I didn't think that paired well with it, so I just didn't use the packets, and I added my own just plain Caesar dressing because it's all I really had. I didn't have any plain lettuce. And yeah, that was dinner, and it was amazing. This next meal is a spicy honey glazed salmon. I'm starting off with about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of salmon fillets, and mine are skinless, so the skin has been removed from them. And just go ahead and pat those dry with a paper towel. You want those nice and dry. I'm going to go ahead and season both sides of that with some salt and pepper. Then I just put some flour on a plate, and I'm going to go ahead and just press those salmon fillets into that to lightly coat them with the flour. I did it on all sides. I've never actually done this technique before by flouring my salmon. We love salmon here in my house, and this just gave it a nice like outer like crust, and it was amazing. Now I've just went ahead and heated some oil in a frying pan over like medium-high heat, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my salmon fillets. You're going to cook these for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. And while those were cooking on that side, I'm going to go ahead and make a sauce. There's no real measurements to this. I'm going to assume it's about 1/4 cup of soy sauce, maybe about 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. You could also use fish sauce, and then some honey, maybe about a tablespoon's worth of honey. And then we're going to go ahead and add in some grated ginger, maybe about a tablespoon, a few cloves of garlic. I didn't have very much garlic, which you know I love garlic, so I actually used one of those little frozen cubes that I had. That's what I'm adding in there. Then some red pepper flakes, that's kind of to taste. Maybe about a good tablespoon's worth, and then I added in some sesame oil, again another tablespoon's worth. This is the point where you just kind of taste it and add other things, so I added extra soy sauce. I like my sauce sweeter, so I went ahead and added in some dark brown sugar. You definitely don't have to, and it's up to your preference on these types of flavors. Here I'm just flipping that salmon over to cook the other side for about 5 minutes. This side I did only 4 minutes, and it did need an extra minute for me because not cooked wise, I just wanted a little bit more golden brown, which you'll see in a moment here. Once they're all done, they'll look like that for me. And you just want an internal temperature of 145 degrees for salmon, and then just remove them from the pan and set them on a plate aside. I cleared that oil out of the pan, and now I'm going to go ahead and add my sauce in. And I'm just going to give that a light stir and let that simmer for a moment. And then you're just going to go ahead and add your salmon back into the pan in that sauce. And I just used a spoon to kind of like spoon over some of that sauce. I wanted it all over the salmon to give it get it nice and coated. And I'm going to go ahead and just let that continue to simmer like on low for just about 3 to 4 more minutes. I served mine over a bed of white rice. I also just added some of that sauce to that rice. That sauce is so good, like super delicious. And this salmon came out amazing. We absolutely loved it. Like my boyfriend kept raving about it. Like we both really enjoyed this. It has so much flavor, and you can adjust that sauce to your liking. I also just put some sesame seeds and green onions on there, as well as some air fried asparagus on the side. This last meal is some lemon chicken tacos. I haven't shown myself making Spanish rice in a while, so here I'm just going to be adding 3 tablespoons of canola oil to my large pan over medium-high heat, and I'm adding in a cup and a half of white rice. I'm just going to go ahead and stir that to get it all coated with the oil, and you're basically going to brown this rice. It's kind of a preference. Some people like it lightly toasted. I like it a little bit more on the toasted side. I really just like the flavor that brings out. So yeah, you can just kind of judge that. Just don't burn your rice. And then once it's kind of browned, you're going to go ahead and add in some chopped up onion, maybe about half an onion to a large onion, just depends what your preference is. And just go ahead and add that in, stir it all around. This is going to soften up the onion as well. Next, I like to sprinkle some garlic powder and some cumin on top of the rice, and then I like to stir it all together. This kind of helps the flavors come out of those spices. It toasts them up a little bit. Again, just do this for a few seconds. You don't need them to burn up. And then we're going to go ahead and add in an 8-ounce container of tomato sauce. And you're going to need some either chicken broth, or I just use chicken bouillon cubes in water, 2.5 chicken bouillon cubes. And you're going to need, of course, 3 cups total of liquid for our 1.5 cup of rice. And then just give that all a good stir to get everything nice and mixed well together. And I'm going to go ahead and let that come to a boil. Place the lid on top. Let that cook for 25 minutes on medium-low heat. You're going to need about 2 large chicken breasts worth of shredded chicken. So for this, I'm just making my chicken in the Instant Pot for about 16 minutes. Once it's done, you're going to go ahead and shred that up, and then you're going to season it with Worcestershire sauce and lemon juice and salt. So again, this is all to taste. I'm not really like measuring anything out. I'm kind of going off someone's meal that they used to make for me, and I'm just kind of like flavor profiling it and seeing like if it tastes similar to what they made. And yeah, so it did take me 2 lemons worth of juice, and then of course your preference on Worcestershire sauce and salt. And I added a little bit of chicken broth in just to add back a little bit of moisture into that, because I like it a little bit juicy. And I'm just pan frying my tortillas into like a taco form. I don't like them too crispy for this meal, but I like them fried up. And there they are, and then there's that rice. You're going to let that sit for 10 minutes after it was done cooking for those 25, just to let it rest without the lid coming off. And I grated up some cheddar cheese, because that's the best thing in my opinion with this meal. That's how my ex-sister-in-law used to make it for me, and I love this so much. It's one of my favorite things. I crave it regularly, and it's simple. Like, you don't add really anything else. You could add other toppings, but just cheese and that lemon chicken is so good to me. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos, and I hope you all are having an amazing week.